So it is my pleasure to introduce Nancy and Julia. I'm going to turn the screen over. Hi.
Hi,
I see
everybody.
I do see you in the corner, so I see you have umbrellas.
Yes, it hasn't rained in about 30 days, and today, of course, is the first day of serious rain.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Look at you.
No.
You look beautiful, though. I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, thank you. So do you. And we can see your paloma in the background.
Oh, yeah, I have no idea. So I'm sorry, everybody, if I was flustered, but I have a blank screen that I'm talking to. Nancy and Julia have just popped up in the corner. So I'm sorry to be a little bit thrown.
Oh, no, you did great.
Yeah, I have to be.
That's okay. You guys can solve that problem while we start the tour. Okay.
You can't see my paloma.
Yes.
Because I absolutely love it.
It looks gorgeous in front of that painting too. I love how the red shines through it.
Fantastic. Excellent.
Thank you for the nice introduction too.
Okay, I'm going to turn the phone so Nancy can talk for a minute.
First, let me introduce you too. So, hi everybody. It's so nice to not see you. This is welcome. Welcome. This is such a strange time that we're in right now, and I'm really grateful that you all came and are going to be part of this little tour of my studio. I see that there's some of my old friends and some collectors who have supported my work throughout the ages, and I'm really grateful that you're all here too. And thanks again, Sandra and Daniel, for setting this up. And special thanks to our camera person extraordinaire, Julia Ricketts, my wife of, I don't know, some years.
Going on 20.
Yeah, going on 20.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, we met at Pilchuck, and this is she's been such a big part of my life and career, and so it's going to be great. I thought that Julia could do some talking too, because she's she's just really smart and great, and and she could kind of maybe ask me some questions if I've missed anything, or it'll be a little bit more interactive than me just like talking and talking. So that's what you're going to see. And we wanted to show you our studio. So unfortunately it's raining, but we're gonna
hold on, we gotta flip it.
We're gonna flip the camera. There we go. Okay, that's our driveway.
All right,
here we are. This is our beautiful studio
here in rainy Seattle.
Yep. And our house is right over here. So we have a wonderful commute. We can just walk. We can go to the studio in our pajamas if we want, whatever. It doesn't matter. We have a lovely garden too. Everything's in bloom right now.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Fantastic. So I thought that I would take you on a little tour of my background, and Daniel's going to help with that. I put some images into a PowerPoint so you could see a little bit about me before we go into the studio.
Okay, let's walk over here.
Let's do that.
Daniel's going to cue that up.
Yes.
Okay. And here's your first slide.
Okay.
So you can start talking.
Okay, so I grew up in Peabody, Massachusetts, and next slide. And this is a picture of my young mom and dad. My mom was quite a fashionista, and she always had such a great wardrobe. And I think I really got a taste of fashion from my mom. And I remember just like really always admiring her attention to detail and putting different fabrics together. Yeah, she was just really stylish all the time. And my dad was a professional baseball player, and I think I got some of his athletic ability. He played mostly AAA baseball, and the year he got signed up to the Yankees, he got calcium deposit in his shoulder. He was a pitcher, and he had to retire. So I think that must have been pretty hard for him. But I had a great childhood on the East Coast, and And I played a lot of sports, and I think that helped with my glass blowing abilities too, and working with a team. Next slide. Right after high school, I started doing graphic design for various silk screening companies on the North Shore of Boston. And I did everything by hand. It was pre-computer days. So I realized that I needed to learn how to use the computer. So I decided to go to Massachusetts College of Art. Oh yeah, here's another slide. I was also a roadie for a band called The Nervous Eaters. There's, next slide. There they are. That was the 80s, as you can see. That was quite a time in my life. And I think it was around 1989, I decided to go to Mass Art and change my life and learn how to use the computer. While I was at Mass Art, I walked into one of the shops, and it was a glass blowing studio. And I decided I did not want to do graphic design anymore, and I wanted to blow glass. So from the first moment I dipped up I put my blow pipe into the glass, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And so I knew it was going to be really hard, and I was 30 at the time. So I set my sights on Lino Tagliapietra. I wanted to learn from the best. So I took a class with Lino, and he told me to move to Seattle, and I could work on his team when he came to town. So I packed up my belongings and drove cross country and moved to the glass capital of the world now, Seattle. Yep. And I became part of the glass blowing scene out here. And I worked at a studio called Manifesto, where we made lights like this. I probably made about 1 million of these. We did a lot of mold blowing. And when Lino came to town, I got to work on his team. And that was a dream come true for me. I learned so much, not only about Venetian techniques and glass blowing, but about life from Lino, and about being an artist and pushing yourself, and really innovating with these techniques, with these century-old Venetian techniques. So I owe a lot to Lino and the team. I got to work with some amazing artists, and it was just quite an experience. I worked for Lino for 19 years, like Sandra said, and I retired about 4 years ago. And I've been really working a lot on my own career, and it's been wonderful. Next slide. I think that's it for this section. Oh, no, it's not. So now I work in a studio in Everett. It's called the Shack Art Center, and it's a wonderful studio, and I have my own team. And next slide. We have a lot of fun when we blow glass. Here I'm making a giant, one of my signature stinger pieces. And I've got the big guns here working for me. Next slide. It's been really great. Like my team is, next slide. My team is so important to me, as you can imagine. Making glass art is a really difficult feat. And when you have a team that you're like just really dialed into and can rely on them, and they want you to succeed as much as you want to succeed, it makes all the difference in the world. And I just feel really fortunate to have such a team. I've got Dave Walters and Alex Cannon. Oh, there I am. Alex Cannon and Isaac Bierman. And then Kristen Elliott is my cold worker, and Karsten Oakes. And I have Gene Broadgate. He's my metal fabricator. So I have quite a team that I work with, which is, it makes such a difference, like I said. So now we're going to go into the studio and see some of the works there's a lot to see in my studio.
Sorry, we're flipping.
We're flipping.
There we
back
go,
and forth.
flipping. Yep, so now we'll head in. Oh, but first we
Oh,
want
yeah,
to say
gotta
hi to
meet
Roxy. Hi,
Roxy's our new
Roxy.
baby. We've had her for about 8 months.
Yeah.
And she is amazing. She's such a good girl, and she loves to play ball.
Yeah.
And she's really wet. So,
Can you guys hear us okay? How's our sound?
Yep, I can hear you.
Good, good.
Great.
Okay. So come on in.
yeah, come on in. There's a lot to see in the studio, so I'm gonna let Julia just kind of pan around for a minute
Mhm.
before I start talking about some of my pieces. You can say a few things too, Julia.
Sure.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, we built the studio in 2010, and it was the best investment we ever made. Nancy is downstairs here, and you can see that she has some workspace, some display space. She's got a sink, and usually it's quite a bit messier than this. We cleaned up the place for you guys a little bit. But that is, that's her space where she does all of her prep work and her packing and shipping, and her designing of the pieces that she's going to make in the hot shop.
That's
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So over here is my cane rack, which I built myself.
It's a
And
beauty.
I also pulled all the cane. So cane is it's a technique that the Venetians discovered and developed. Yep. And so I do a lot of cane work in my pieces, and I need all different kinds of cane to make my work exciting and to keep me busy and happy. And so I like to discover new things and new ways to work with cane and to bring it to something exciting and new.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the kinds of cane here?
So this is flat cane, and it's got a lot of lines in it. So a basic cane is just like a one color. Like this right here would be a basic cane.
That's just blue.
Yeah, that's blue. So if you take a lot of those basic canes and put them together and roll them up, you can get something like this with many, many lines. I don't know if you can see that. You might be able to see this one a little bit with the white.
Yeah. So that's flat cane with a lot of lines.
Yep, flat. So there's flat cane and round cane. Here's a beautiful blue.
Transparent flat cane.
Yeah.
Show them from the side so you can see it's skinny on the side and it's wide in the front. Yeah.
And so when I'm thinking about, I like to work in series, and one of the reasons that I like to work in series is because you can really perfect a form, and you can discover what cane patterns look best on this form. So I've been doing a series called Clouds. I've been doing those for a number of years, and I use a lot of the flat canes. I like to mix flat canes with just the straight canes. And so over here, I did a little mock-up. This is one of the pieces that Sandra picked out for the gallery. It's really a really sweet cloud called Sweetheart Cloud. And it's got multi-layers of cane on it. So when I'm thinking about making a piece like that, I have my palette of color that I can access. And I think about, I kind of want to have this be like warm colors, pinks and oranges. And a lot of times I look to people like Pucci for inspiration and color, because he always put like, oranges and pinks and reds together to create these like lively, vibrant colors. So I look a lot to different artists, and I'm always like looking through books. I've got a great library that I can access and stuff. And so
for color ideas.
Yeah, for color ideas. So here I've laid out, this is typically what something like a cloud like this would look like. I have 2 layers of cane, and they'd all be cut to the same size. And then I space them out you know, I can play with different colors. Like I don't really like that. So I'd move this over here and just like really make this nice range. And I think about when I'm thinking about this cane, how each layer is going to look on top of the other layer. So like, for example, in this piece, I knew that I was going to put this white over this pink and get this kind of moire effect. Like when after I pick up my first pickup, I twist it a little bit just to like offset it slightly. So you get more dimension when you see it. And then for the clouds, I love the way I twisted it in one direction and then twisted it in another direction. So you get like this flow over the bumps. And I think about like the way clouds like drift over hills and mountains. So it's kind of cool the way it interrupts the cane and you get like this bumpy sort of surface.
Show us the other side of that too.
Yeah, sure.
Because the back's always a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can really see how there was like an offset in the two different layers of color.
Pretty.
Thank you.
Love it.
Let's see just a few more clouds before we move on to another series. So this one is Madrid cloud.
Madrid cloud.
Yeah, Madrid cloud, reds and oranges.
Yeah, and this one has a different sort of layering. This has smaller canes in the background that I kind of did this scribbling technique on, and you can see it come through. So you get a different feeling on this cloud than you did with Sweetheart Cloud.
Cool.
Yeah. And then this cloud is very
turn it towards me.
right.
Yeah,
What
we
is
don't
that
have good
thing?
light. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this one has a lot of light that goes through it. You can really see the transparency in it.
Kind of the amber color.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about like different viscosities in glass and stiffnesses in glass. And here, just keep this in mind. See how you can, this black, it really holds the line, and the white. And you need like a really stiff color to get that effect. There's so many different like nuances in glass that you need to like learn about when you're blowing glass to get like, I love like a tight, crisp graphic, but I also like a lot of soft things too. And then like having that contrast, like on a piece like this, you have this soft white where you can see that stiff color in back of it. I think it's just really
pretty.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Want to look at a droplet now?
Sure. Let's
Okay.
talk about a droplet. So I've been making the droplets for a couple of years now, and I love this series. I kind of developed this technique of picking up the glass, picking up the cane, and I think Daniel has some
slides.
Yeah, some images.
Yeah, let's cut to those images, Daniel, and then we'll come back and look at this piece. Okay, now you'll be able to see what he's got here. Great.
Okay, so this is like a typical setup for the anemone. I call them anemone canes. And if you look closely, they're just little bits of cane that I make kind of a mosaic pattern with. It's almost like brickwork, where there would be spaces where the mortar would go, but I need to leave those spaces so I don't trap bubbles. And when I first started doing this technique, I didn't think it was going to be possible to pick up cane in this way. I thought I would just trap like a million bubbles in it, but I wanted to try it. And when I succeeded in doing it, I was like so excited to be able to like, it was just like a whole new world that opened up for me when I could, and sometimes I will turn the canes in a sideways pattern too. So next slide. And so it's really important to have the bubble be the perfect size for the setup. And this is one thing that I learned from Lino and working on Lino's team, is how to pick up cane. I picked up a lot of cane for Lino, and that was my main job, was picking up the cane and starting the pieces on his team. So I got really good at it. And also I learned from Keiko Ungaro who is Lino's
Brother-in-law
brother-in-law, who recently
passed away.
passed away. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Keiko too, for I think I have a hybrid of Lino and Keiko in my technique of picking up cane. So you see I come over and I just put that blob of glass and I roll it. And so both ends need to meet.
Next slide.
Next slide.
So now it's wrapped all the way around the outside of the bubble.
And then I use this brush. I just use like a little whisk brush because there's a there's like a clay release on the ceramic plate that I use to pick up the cane. So I just brush that debris off. That's why I'm always like brushing it with that little brush.
Get all the grit off.
Yep.
Okay, next slide.
I think that's it. Oh, no, here it is.
So now you can see all the little pieces of cane look like a dotted line, and they're going to get melted in, and then that will be the start of the piece.
Yes, that's the start of the
Okay,
piece.
so now let's come back to reality.
It's like virtual glass blowing.
It is. So yeah, so show us, like, each of these is one of those little bits.
Yeah, each of these is so the cane, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but the cane is, I blow a color cup and then I stuff clear into it. And then I pull these long strands of cane, and then I chop these up into little bits and create that mosaic.
And that makes these little tubes.
Yeah, so this started out this size. This bigger thing started out that size. It grew, it stretched, it became more transparent.
As it's blown.
Yeah, and so with these pieces, I like to play with the different densities too, because it gives you more of a graphic. And you can see with these lighter colored ones, you can see underneath. So there's 2 layers of
this technique.
Of the anemone cane.
Like giving it more dimension.
You know, Nancy, that piece is so dimensional. It's beautiful.
And then
so also, like, there's a funny story about how this happened too. So when I first started making the droplets, and I still make them with 1 layer of cane, but I was making them basically with 1 layer of cane and a blow through of a color. And when I do the cane, I make a big cup. I make a big cup out of, it's a lot bigger than, it's like twice the size of this, out of the cane. And then I stuff the color inside of that cup. And when I did that, I created this bubble all the way around. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do with that? I was like,
disaster.
It was a disaster. But you know, I'm in the hot shop, I'm paying my team, I've got to do something. There's so much material. So I decided to cut that bubble in half and then blow another cup out of it and then stuff the one inside the other. And it came out like looking like this.
Right.
And I was just like, whoa, oh no, now I'm gonna have to do that every time. But it added so much dimension. You know, I'm just telling you this because it's like, as glassblowers, we push ourselves all the time and, like, you know, try to create. And then sometimes you have this vision and sometimes it goes wrong.
And you have
something goes wrong.
Right.
And you have to think on your toes. And that can, like, lead to something else that is, like, more magnificent than what you could have thought of.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was a happy accident. Yes. Here's another droplet that's really, that I really like a lot. And you can really see the color fade in this one as well. This one goes from purple to blue. And I do, it's pretty technical, but I do this double blow through. So basically for these droplets, I'm stuffing 3 cups. And again, this is a cup. And this is the style of cup for this. This would be the inside cup, the size of the inside cup. On this one, I would have stuffed the purple in here, melt this in, then I stuff this into a blue cup and then into another cup with more lines on it. So you can see it's got so much depth. This one has a lot of movement too. It's very,
Yeah, turn that so we can see
Sure.
the other side.
you know, and these anemones really come to life in this piece too. And there's just a lot of like magical color things that happen down here.
Mhm.
And also, if you notice, the surface on these are very soft.
Mhm.
Um,
Versus
like a cloud.
shiny
Yeah,
glass.
yeah, like this piece, this cloud is very shiny.
Mhm.
This piece, what I do is I sandblast it, and then it's a labor of love, and then I hand sand it for about 4 hours, going from a 220 grit up to a pumice.
Mm.
And it's not a polish, but you get this like, it's like so satin soft.
Yeah, it's like a satin surface.
It is. And it really like catches the light and just illuminates. The other day when we were practicing our Zoom, the sunshine was just coming in and this piece was just glowing.
Yeah, from light coming through it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's something about that satin surface that really is like a light catcher. So I'll just show these droplets. We won't talk about them, but just so you guys can see some other ones.
Yeah, I wish the sun was coming in and hitting them because it's
I
fantastic.
love that technique though. And I don't know if it's a color combination. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Lovely.
It took me a while to like figure out how to do these blow throughs too. It's like, it's everything that you don't think about. Like you think it's wrong to like blow through the color, but that's exactly what you want to do. It's like something you would do as a beginner naturally. But then, let's talk about the Paloma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is one of my favorite Palomas, besides the one that Sandra has, of course.
Yes.
Yes, this one's a little bit different in technique. This is more of a plaid, and Sandra's is more like that technique that I showed when I was rolling up the cane.
With the little bits.
Yeah, with the bits. So this is a...
Tell us about the series.
Yeah, so the Palomas, I started thinking about these as being more figurative. And I named them Paloma because of Paloma Picasso. You'd always see like in the 80s, she would do these ads and she always had this
like really sculptural hair.
Sculptural hair.
Yes.
Yeah. So
she was an icon.
Yeah,
she was a fashion icon.
She was. Right.
Yeah.
She was. And we just called it Paloma until we were like, what are we going to name this series? And then we're like, let's just call it Paloma.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense. Yeah. And this one I love it because it's got great proportions and it's not easy to, like, sometimes, you know, the proportions aren't as good as you want them to be, and sometimes they're really like spot on. So this one's got good proportions, and I really like the colors too. Yeah, they're kind of unexpected.
Yeah, it's got like gold,
blue,
and
the pink.
I love that one. I'm a real fan though of the Palomas, I must admit. I love the figurativeness of them.
Thank you, Sandra.
Here's a piece from an older series. Want to just pull this forward
the top
so they
series.
can see it?
Yeah. So this was probably the series that got me like
really started.
It got me really started, the top series. And I still make tops every now and again. And this series it's just so much fun. For me, I love toys and games and comic books, and so this form just really made sense, and I really like making them too because I actually get to see them spinning as I'm turning. Yeah, and sometimes my team would get hypnotized by this graphic on the front.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, let's just take a quick peek at a few other pieces here.
Here's a really beautiful cloud on a stand. So some of the clouds I put on stands, and I have a great metal worker. And so it just kind of lifts them up, and you get a little different look at them.
Yeah, makes it float a little bit. Nice. Should we
We
just
could-
look at real
yeah,
quick
we
at the
could just
snowman?
look at this for a
Yeah.
second. This,
Because you kind of have to.
this is my newest snowman. So in 2008, I got invited to the Museum of Glass to do a residency there. And I thought, how can I get the whole team like working on something? And as a kid, I loved making snowmen. And I thought it was like so ironic to make a hot snowman. You know, you still have to get all like, you know, I've got like 3 layers of shirts on and I'm damn, I feel like I'm going out to play.
Yeah.
In the snow, but I'm actually, it's like protecting me from the heat.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, these are all put together hot. So this thing on a blowpipe
Is enormous.
yeah, it's enormous. And of course I have to get suited up to work it. And I love the detail of the nose and this cane work. I wanted to make it look like it was made of wood. I don't know, it's kind of smoky wood-like.
Yeah, it's got kind of a wood grain pattern.
Yeah.
We have some fun photos of this being made. We can share them with you guys after the presentation. And
Yeah.
Sandra and Daniel can.
Maybe send out an email with
Yeah.
some images of
Yeah, because it's pretty exciting.
it is.
Yeah, that pattern was very intense, really beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful
it's a really
pattern.
pretty
And
pattern.
trying to get that proportionally, that it's a feat.
Mhm,
Making something on that scale and having all that detail
mhm.
is, yeah, it's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask of the team and
Mhm.
also of the material.
Yeah.
You know?
Nancy, what's the height of that piece? How tall does it stand?
That's about 30, might be about 36
Go stand
inches.
next to it. I'll give you guys a little.
It's
So,
on a little riser too.
yeah.
But it's about 36 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Excuse me.
it's definitely, you know, it's a statement. We have 3 of them in our living room. We love living with them.
Yeah, they're really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
They're
there's an
really
old
fun.
black one too over here.
Mhm.
This one,
Yeah, he's like noir snowman.
Yeah.
He's just all black.
he's all black. That was my original design, this all black snowman. And
Yeah.
and since then I've done, like, they invite me back maybe every other year or every 3 years.
Mhm.
And I'm actually having a show at the Museum of Glass in 2021.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's a big deal. I'm really excited about that. And
Congratulations.
thank you so much. It's a solo museum show,
Mhm.
which is very exciting.
Yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
sure to invite everyone.
Yes,
That's the Museum of Glass in Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah.
It's a must-see if you come to Seattle.
and they have a great team. Okay, we're gonna move on to my panel series.
Wow.
So this panel is one of my newest.
Mhm, brand new.
Brand new. Yeah, first time ever seen. And first time we just hung it up.
Yeah.
I called my metals guy and I said, I need to get this piece up for this tour, my virtual tour. And he had to put his mask on and go into work and retrieve these because they were just sitting waiting to be finished.
Yeah.
And he got them finished for me and
Yeah.
delivered. And it's a different way of hanging the panels for me there. It comes off the wall a little bit more.
Yeah,
and-
trying to show it, but it's kind of hard. But it's about 3 inches off the wall.
Yep. And for this piece, I wanted some light to be able to come around and through it to really make that color pop.
Mm-hmm.
It really comes to life, like just sticking out off the wall a little bit. And this is done with those anemone canes, but I'm using them as more of a marini. And you can see there's like, well, I don't know if you can see it, but there's so much texture.
I can see it,
On
I
this
think.
piece.
Yeah, yeah. When you look from the side, you can kind of really see that.
Yeah, you can.
It has
these are
quite
like-
a bit of dimension.
They're like little trumpets coming out, and over here there's a lot of dimension in these little bits.
Mhm.
Over here on the left, it's a really happy piece. I'm like so excited to have it on my wall now and get to look at it. It's pretty great.
Forced you to do that, Nancy.
Thank
We-
you. And you know,
Have you worked?
Daniel has some images of how I make the panels because it's kind of hard to explain, but I think I can explain it a little bit better with some images.
Perfect.
So yeah, we're gonna cut to that.
Okay. Here.
Okay, here we go. So first of all, I start out with I start out with my sketches, and this is one of my sketchbooks. I thought I'd just throw it in there so you guys can see it. One thing that I love about the panel series is that I have so many ideas for patterns and designs, and with the panels, I don't have to marry the pattern with the form. So for me, with my sculptures, it's really important to have this synergy between the pattern and the form. But with this, I can just, you know, the sky's the limit. I can just do anything on these, and it's like a sketch in my sketchbook. Next slide. So I have my idea, and I pick up my cane and I blow it into a cylinder. And as you can see here, the design is on the inside of the cylinder. And that's really important when I'm making panels, because if the design is on the outside, when you open the panel, the
design will end up
on
flat.
Yeah, it gets flattened and it's on the kiln shelf. So when it's on the inside, it retains the dimensionality of the texture of the cane. Next slide. And here is that finished piece, that cylinder. This is what it looks like when it's opened up. And next slide. And here's another cylinder with a pattern, again on the inside. Next. So this is the way that I make the cylinders and make the panels out of the cylinders. So I take the cylinder, cut the bottom off, and then I cut the length of the cylinder. And then you can see on that last image, that's what it looks like. You take a little slit out of the side. And then next, then you put it in a kiln. Here it's already starting to open a little bit. So you bring it up to about 1100 degrees and it starts to move. At that point, you get suited up in a little Kevlar suit. Next. And you can go in there, you turn it on its side, and you can kind of coax the panel open. Next. And you don't want to do it too hard. You have to just gently persuade it to open. Next. Next. And there it is lying flat. And then you leave it in there, let it flatten out for about an hour, and then you slowly bring it down to temperature. So this is the way they used to make window glass back in the day, before it was like pressed glass. They had people making these giant cylinders, and they did it exactly this way. Next slide. After I have all my cylinders open, I recently did a project for the Mint Museum. I got to be in their permanent collection, and so I did a residency in North Carolina. It was a great experience. Next slide. And this is the final product, the final piece. And you can see it's about, I don't know, 16 panels maybe. And it was based on the the history of textiles in North Carolina. So I made all the work in North Carolina, and then I got to install it at the Mint Museum, and it lives on this wall in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, it was a really amazing project. It took me about a little over a year to see it all the way through, and I'm really pleased with the way it came out.
Yeah.
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 Congratulations. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, so
Let's see where we headed next.
we're gonna head to
the kiln room.
The kiln room. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when did you buy your kiln?
Or did you want to look at
Oh,
the-
yeah. Let's take a quick look at
Let's
those.
take another look at a panel. This is a pretty new panel too. This one's called Ebb Tides, and it's got those anemone canes that I used as Marini. It's got a lot of dimension to it. And this right here is a panel that using a technique called granulare. And granulare is, remember I was talking earlier about different viscosities in glass. There's a really stiff white in combination with a really soft white. And I make these squares called marini, and I make a pattern with those, and I roll it up, blow it into a cylinder, and get this texture. Yeah, it's very textural. And it's like, it's such an amazing material to work with. Since I've been in quarantine, I had this like, I've just been like really thinking about glass and how valuable it is and how much resource it goes into making something. And I haven't been able to work in the hot shop for about 2 months, and I really miss my team and I miss blowing glass, but I've been doing different things to keep busy. And I've had this obsession with this granulare technique, and I really wanted to, I don't know, even make it more extremely valuable or
Just show the preciousness of it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so I decided I wanted to gold leaf a panel with a granulare panel. And I've never done gilding, and I've especially never done gilding that you actually fire on the gold. And
so these are some samples.
Yeah, these are some samples. This one came out pretty good. It's got a star. This one's actually the best. And I figured you have to fire it at a pretty high temperature to get it to stick really good. This one I fired at a low temperature. And as you can see, like the gold is still flaking off. It didn't work out so good. So once I dialed that in, or thought I dialed that in, I decided to do this really precious black granulare panel. Oh, and here's another sample. I wanted to make these squares. So I figured out how to make a really difficult technique to make it square and sharp.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I decided, I'm going to do this black panel. I laid my design out, and I opened the kiln after I spent 30 hours gilding it. I opened the kiln, and this is what I found.
Oh.
Yep. It's like the agony of, right? Agony of defeat.
I'm sad.
But I don't know, for some reason I wasn't that upset about it because it's glass and it's still precious, and I feel like something else is going to come of this. I'm going to figure out a way to, so much time and so much, there's so much time, so much material, and it's so precious that
and it is so pretty.
It's really gorgeous. Like, look at these. It's insane. It's like a landscape. I can't even believe that glass can do this.
Yeah.
So basically what I think happened is it got too stressed. Like, it's been fired too many times. And when you fire glass, it always changes the molecular structure in the glass. So I think maybe that was part of it. First of all, you're asking the glass to do so much with this granulare. It's already like stressed out. Yeah. So I think, I don't know, I might have stressed it too much.
So lesson learned,
Yeah.
one step at a time. Sometimes with glass, you do have pretty spectacular failures.
Yeah.
Let's go check out the kiln room.
Yeah, because my kiln is so, like, right now, because I'm not able to blow glass, I've been able to do a lot of kiln work. And I started making these pieces that they come from, as you remember, I showed you the cylinder and how I cut the bottom off. Well, I found that the bottoms are so beautiful. And so I started thinking about, like, using the bottoms of the panels to create another piece. And I just fired these. The temperature is right to open it up. Oh yeah. Oh, they look fantastic. So they have a nice polished edge here. I have my cold worker cut them down, and they have different edges. Some of them have a little bit more of a lip than others, but I think they look really great.
Cool.
And it's like a little portal. you know, it's like a little sketch or a portal. So I put a few of them up. I had a few that were finished, and I decided to put a few of them up for everybody to see. Hi, Roxy. Oh, it stopped raining.
I know.
Yay.
Yay.
There we go. So I think these are really fun. You can do some exciting installations with these pieces, or you could have just one there, and they're just like a little, for me, they're like little sketches, little bits of something else that was maybe bigger. Or
Want to show us how those are hung on the wall?
sure. And they're hung. A lot of people ask me how I hang the panels, and they're hung with French cleats. So I use a Dow Corning 733 glass glue, which is
Be
like,
specific.
oh my God, I tried to take one of these off.
Not easy.
They're on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just clips right on there.
And you just slide it right on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Sandra, how are we doing for time? How's everybody doing? I know we've gone a little longer, so.
I think that I'm speaking for the group, but I think you should continue.
Okay.
And then we'll do our Q&A.
Q&A. Okay.
Are
We
you
just
still
have about 5 more minutes to maybe go upstairs and see something that Nancy's working on.
Sure. It would be a shame to miss it. So let's go.
Over where?
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Here's some smaller works that I do some smaller pieces too. I'm sorry. And it's fun to work in this scale. These are some cloud minis. Oh, and here's a really cool piece.
It's got a little turn to it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
It's very unnerving, Julia.
I do.
But
Makes
it's
me
pretty
nervous.
cool. Yeah. Here it goes. It's going to the edge.
Oh, that's horrible.
Okay. Okay. So the next body of work I'm going to show you is a collaboration that I have been working on with my really good friend, Catherine Gray, who is also shows with Sandra and Daniel. Watch out behind you, Cloud. She shows with Sandra and Daniel, and she's also the star of this on the series Blown Away on Netflix. So there you go.
Catherine Gray, our
Catherine
friend.
Gray. Yeah, Kathy and I have been friends for years. We worked with Laura Mason, Joey Kirkpatrick together, and that's when we really bonded, and we realized how much we love working together. And we try and find different ways to, she lives in LA, so we try to find different ways that we can hang out and
Work
blow
together.
glass together. So we decided a couple years ago that we wanted to do a project that is kind of based on clowns. It started out as one thing, and then it kind of turned into a whole nother thing. Yeah. So if you're interested in hearing more about the clowns, we are having a show on Bainbridge Island, and it's at the museum. And we have
in the fall.
In the fall, yeah, it's in October. So, did you show Grampy?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So this, here, give me that. Your arm's tired. So this is a paint by number clown that lived in my home when I was a kid, and I thought this was like a work of art. And it was framed exactly like this, and my grandfather painted it. I didn't really understand that it wasn't high art. Anyway, that has inspired some pieces
That you're gonna see in a
Yep.
minute.
Yep.
And this is just a gallery wall.
Different. This is a print that I did at Pilchuck and some friends of ours. And this is a piece that a little girl made for me when I went to Wisconsin, and it's so cute. She did such a good job. I think it looks just like me. And there's the furnace in the background. She says, "You make it look so easy. You never gave up." It's pretty awesome. Okay, here we go up the stairs. And here's a rendition of the paint by number clown. This is, we call this one Popsy. It's a little different. Here, I got it. It's a little bit different clown, but, and it's got these little appendages that are hot sculpted. Kathy is really good at hot sculpting. And I did the panel in the background, which is like it's a white plaid.
It's very subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you remember, I do have a background in graphic design. So these pieces really speak to me.
Yeah. Let's look at the one on the table.
Yeah, this one is, we call this clown Grampy after my grandfather. And this is the clown. And what I did was I took a picture of Grampy and I kind of stylized it and made it a little bit more simple. And then this is airbrushed on with enamels, and this is a silk screened enamel print. And then we made these little buttons or little polka dots, like his tie is just kind of going. And this one will be framed like the other one too, with this kind of ornate frame. Some of the other.
So the work in the show is really like a combination of your skills and Kathy's skills, and then your kind of common interest in this clown theme, right? Yes. Yeah. And I think you came up with some really unique pieces. I love this one. Sort of like a flag.
I was going to say it looks like a flag. It does.
The smiley face flag. It looks like a child made it too.
Yeah, and it's the colors remind me of those like popcorn containers.
I like this one.
Yeah.
This one's called The Clown in Me Loves You.
And it's got this mirrored, pearlized mirrored sort of face area where when you look in, you'll see your own reflection as a clown. This one's called Squirt. And it's the old, you know, flower that squirts you in the eye. Yes. Careful.
Careful.
Really delightful.
Doing a collaboration like this is, Kathy and I both have our own careers. So making the time to do something like this is not always easy, but it really like takes you to a different place. Like as an artist, you know, you kind of have a certain way of working on your own work, but then when you collaborate, it almost like frees you up to do something like totally different. Gives you license.
Right.
Yeah. So like this work for us, it's really different, but I can see both of us in it too.
For sure.
This one's called Remember Me.
I love this piece.
Yeah, this is a cool piece.
Yeah. It's just very dreamy. And the clown is kind of abstracted, which I think is neat. You guys have really.
The one above. I like the one that's above
red
it
one.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one has like little teardrops that are fired onto this panel, and it really like magnifies the blue lines.
It's like a little lens, each teardrop.
Yeah, it's very abstract, but you know what it is.
Yeah, really cool.
And this one's just weird.
This is one of the weirder ones.
Yeah, it's got these like drool drops that are watering these flowers that are airbrushed. So they go from like this really pale to like
vibrant.
More vibrant.
And Kathy made the sculpted elements, the eyes and the mouth, which are a little bit raised.
Yeah. And well, sign of the times.
Yeah.
There you have it. Yeah, I mean, just, I don't have to say anything about that.
No, I mean, we've got clowns everywhere these days.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I think you guys got the
That was fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
that was great fun.
And, you know, we just really enjoy our space here. I'll just show you our garden really quick. We have some outdoor space, and it's really lush here in Seattle. We appreciate, even our rainy days, we appreciate our green space and our big tree.
Yeah, a beautiful tree. Here,
that
get a
we love.
picture of that.
And that's
Yeah.
your house right down there, is that
Yeah,
right?
that's our house.
Yep.
And there's some glass in the garden that, you know, is just too pretty to throw in the garbage, but it is broken. So, you know, we try to enjoy all the parts of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's a
Oh, yeah.
lighting sculpture that I work with a glass artist named Lindsay Adelman, and she has a studio in New York City, and she's an amazing designer.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we will be happy to take some questions from anybody
Excellent. So
who's
when you,
still on the call, and we're ready when you guys are.
okay, so now that you're downstairs, I'll let you get settled.